Hello, 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 hello? Hello. Oh my gosh, guys, it's insane right now. There's like 7 tornadoes heading towards. I mean, I really don't want to say that. I really do not want to say there's like that many tornadoes going towards the Chicago area. I, I mean, there could be, but I don't know. Let me look at all these rotations. So yeah, we got a lot going on. Alright, one there. Why can't I move? I have no idea why I can't move. Yeah, I don't know. I can't move here. Let me just zoom out. 1, 2. Ugh, jeez, this is not gonna work. One of them's probably going over the radar, so. 3. And, okay. Okay. My bad. There's not 7 tornadoes going on. I thought there was, but no, there's only like 7. I don't know why I find that so funny. There's only 3 tornadoes ongoing right now. And it's possible that they're not even on the ground. I can't even see a CC drop with them. Of course, it's extremely hard to tell because this is kind of far away from the radar. No. This is too close to the radar. But you can see that there is several rotations in this area. And that is why I'm saying several rotations are possible with this line. This, of course, I kind of just went live, not just because of these rotations that have developed, also because this is heading right into the Chicago area, so I just wanted people to be aware and understanding of the situation going on in Chicago, so that's why I'm live again. And we have a new tornado warning down here near Bloomington. It's for this area of rotation. It is a severe thunderstorm warning with 80-mile-per-hour winds, so definitely be in your safe spot for that. This is 80-mile-per-hour winds. That is intense. But you can still see several rotations ongoing. One that is directly intercepting Joliet. If you live in Joliet, please go to your safe spot. Your safe spot is basically the farthest away. It's the room that is the farthest away from the outside world, farthest away as possible, and it is in a sturdy structure, a sturdy building. Make sure that if you were to walk through walls, if you walk through all of the walls in that room that you sheltered in, and if you ended up outside through one of those walls, that means you're not in a safe room, and you have to move to another room in order to make sure that if you were to walk through all of the walls, then you would end up in other rooms instead of outside. Of course, if you don't know the geography of your house, then that is different. And we just got a tornado warning for Chicago. Chicago is in a tornado warning. I'm changing my title. Tornado warning for Chicago. Alright, so this rotation near Joliet has weakened a little bit. Still there. You can see near Lockport. It remains, but still Still can't see a CC drop with that, so I'm unsure if it's on the ground. But I'm pretty sure it's extremely hard to tell if these are on the ground or not. So realize that these could definitely be on the ground. This one is. This one is. You can kind of clearly tell that. North of Manhattan. That is pretty obviously on the ground. That's the only one we can really tell is on the ground at the moment, though. All the others are extremely difficult to tell. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do get some tornadoes out of these, even if it doesn't show it on radar. So realize that. But yeah, right over here near Lockport, you can see a very intense area of rotation over there approaching towards Homer Glen. If you live in Homer Glen, please go to your safe spot. This is an intense storm that is quickly intensifying. It is right by the radar at the moment. Yeah, it's extremely hard to tell. It's extremely hard to tell what's going on in Lockport, but I believe this is the area of rotation right here. And that is approaching towards Homer Glen. So if you live in Homer Glen, please go to your safe spot. And then near New Lenox, there's another storm. It's not heading towards New Lenox. That's not the best location. It's more heading like this. So it's heading towards Frankfurt. Monticello, Indiana. Let me see. I mean, you are in the tornado watch, but let me see. I mean, you are in the tornado watch. You're outside of the 10%, but just be aware you could get some storms later on tonight as this storm kind of transitions from a derecho, which I'm unsure if it'll still be considered a derecho, depending on how strong the winds are, to a regular MCS. However, there'll still be that tornado threat. There's QLCS spin-ups all along that line, so you'll still have a threat for some possible tornadoes in Monticello, Indiana. And of course, the damaging wind threat is also present. You might get up to 70-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, so next scan over here, you got this rotation approaching towards Mokina and Frankfurt, and that is still a concerning rotation. That is still, and it looks like it's on the ground. I'm not sure if it is. No longer sure if it's on the ground anymore. I'm no longer sure if it's on the ground anymore, which is something. However, I'm still certain that this is an area of rotation that we need to pay attention to. I'm still certain of that. But still, we have this tornado warning in effect for Chicago. And that's for several areas of rotation that are approaching the Chicago area. Especially this one. Near Justice. This is right near Justice. If you live in Justice, be aware that there's an area of rotation quickly approaching. Of course, it's going to go into southern Chicago, towards South Shore, and there's several other areas of rotation that we gotta watch too. I feel like I missed the peak of this event because there was a lot more tornadoes out on the ground simultaneously before. However, there's still several tornadoes on the ground. I still don't know if that's a CC drop. I have no idea. So, I know that's not really helpful, but it's just extremely hard to tell. I think that is a CC drop. You can see this is heading right towards the Jackson Creek Preserve, heading towards West Steger Road and South LaGrange Road. This is heading towards those areas. If you know any of those street names, then you probably should be going into your safe spot, especially if those places are close to you. This is near the Jackson Creek Preserve, heading directly towards Frankfurt. This is heading directly towards Frankfurt. It's heading directly for southern Frankfurt. So if you live in Frankfurt, please get into your safe spot. This is a possible tornado heading towards your area, and it is quickly approaching that area. You can see it's breaking the terminal radar. Of course, that's pretty easy to break, but let's see if we can get any cameras in this area. It's extremely hard to get Illinois cameras, but I bet there's some. There it is. There's Frankfurt. I have no idea what that is. Is that Power Flash? That was 4 minutes ago. I have no idea. I wish these were not just picture cameras, but they actually were videos. I really do wish that, but what can I do? But, I mean, that could have been a power flash on that screen. It's extremely hard to tell. Yeah, that's very interesting. I wonder what that is. Alright, good news. This rotation is kind of weakened right as it enters into Frankfurt. So that is good news. Thankfully, Frankfurt does seem like it has missed from this tornado. It doesn't look like it's on the ground anymore. So that means we probably have no tornadoes on the ground. So that is some good news. I mean, it's still enough rotation to break the radar a little bit, the terminal radar. And there's a little bit of rotation over here near Orland Hills. So we'll also have to watch that. That is matching up with some reflexivity. Yeah, so anyways, we do still have this rotation near Frankfurt. I mean, you can still see that other rotation approaching towards Orland Hills. That is a new development. That is a new development towards Orland Hills. Let's see if we can get a camera on that. Orland Hills. Morrison. Oh, shh. Alright. Tornado warning now for Gary, Indiana. So we now have a tornado warning in effect for Gary, Indiana. You can see as this rotation is now beginning to strengthen again. Thankfully, it directly skipped the area of Frankfurt, but we still have this area of rotation that remains near Madison, It's approaching towards Madison, so that definitely is a concern for the Madison area. And Chicago Heights, Park Forest, Olympia Fields, South Chicago Heights, Flossmoor. Let's see if we can get a camera on that. There is Madison. I mean, it's not really showing much. The problem with these cameras, of course, is that they're picture cameras, which basically means that they only take pictures and never take videos. And that doesn't have a video or a picture. So that doesn't help. I mean, that towards Torrance Avenue does have a view, but it's not that good. At the moment, we're just going to have to rely on the radar as this approaches towards Madison. Still an observed tornado warning for Gary. None of these have been PDS yet, so that is good news, but still, I mean, there's still that risk for some tornadoes going all the way into central Indiana. Going all the way into that region. So we might be live until then. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, please let that not be a tornado. That would head right towards Madison. I gotta check the population of Madison. Be right back. Oh my gosh. It's 19,000. Please don't tell me that just hit Madison. Was about to hit Madison. Still no new scan. Still have no idea. Oh my gosh, please let it not hit Madison. There's a CC drop. It's still behind. Still behind. It doesn't look like it's producing a tornado on radar, but trust me, it is. That is a very deep CC drop. Okay, maybe not very deep. It's moderately deep. The CC drop is moderately deep. I just said deep. I don't know why. Let's see on that rotation near Orland Park. That kind of has weakened. Or Orland Hills. It's still there. But it does seem like it has weakened a little bit. Even though there's a new one heading towards Tinley Park. Tinley Park being your safe spot. Alright, is that a new rotation scan? Alright. That isn't as bad as I expected. So I'm unsure. It does seem like that was a tornado on the ground. But I don't think it was as strong as we thought. I think it was just a weak tornado that went through Madison. I don't know the rating, of course. I can't tell you the rating because obviously that's not applicable. I mean, I can't tell you the rating until the NWS surveys that region. But I can tell you that it was likely weak. It was likely weak because the CC drop isn't very strong. And I'm not seeing those like darker shades. And the rotation itself is not very strong. So I don't think it was that strong of a tornado that went through Madison. But it was still a tornado that went through Madison. So if you know anybody that lives in Madison, just take care of them. Make sure that they're updated. And tell them to update you on the current situation. I mean, I bet there was some tornado that went through Madison. And this is still heading towards Gary, Indiana. Still have this tornado warning in effect for Chicago, and it is now observed. It is now observed. Damaging tornadoes. This storm is producing multiple tornadoes at the same time. Radar confirmed tornadoes. Realize that there is multiple tornadoes heading towards Chicago. I am changing my title once again. Multiple tornadoes on their way to Chicago. if you live in Chicago, please be in your safe spot. These are multiple tornadoes on the ground at the same time. Oh my gosh. See, there's one right here near Oak Park. There's an example. Right near Oak Park. And that is heading directly for Chicago. Downtown Chicago. Oh my gosh, please don't let that stay. Chicago is so populated. Please don't. I can't tell if it has the CC drop or not, though. Is that? I still can't tell. But they said multiple tornadoes on the ground at the same time due to the radar confirmed, so I believe them. I believe them. I think that that is a tornado on the ground over there near Chicago. Yeah, that looks like one. Right there. It's very small, but there is multiple tornadoes on the ground heading towards Chicago, so I bet there is. I'm going to continue to believe it. I'm going to continue to believe it. Alright, now new tornado warning for Kankakee. That is approaching towards Grant Park, Moments, Sun River, Aroma Park, and Hopkins Park. You can see there's this hook. It is a gust front that is approaching towards, that is causing some inflow to knock into it. I don't know what that terminology was. I meant flow into it. And that is approaching towards Grant Park. Grant Park being your safe spot. You still have this tornado warning down here near Monticello. That is not Monticello, Indiana. That's Monticello. Wait, is that Monticello? No. It's Monticello, Illinois. So don't worry. I don't see the rotation on this that well. But I bet there still is some rotation on it, so please be in your safe spot. Oh my gosh, Chicago. That is a hook approaching. There's the area of rotation. That is right near the Austin neighborhood of Chicago. Austin neighborhood of Chicago. I need to get a photo on that. I'm sorry about that background noise. Oh my gosh, look at all these cars here. No, I do not like to see that. Why are all these cars on the road? They don't even realize that they're under a tornado warning. I do not like that at all. They need to understand that they're in a tornado warning right now. An observed tornado warning. This is horrible for Chicago. Anyways, back down here where this tornado went through Madison. Does look like it has weakened a little bit. But there's still a CC drop. There's still a CC drop over there towards Homewood. Homewood is still there in that CC drop approaching there. So still be in your safe spot if you live in Thornton, Lansing, Hammond, which is just barely in Indiana, Fort Heights, Glenwood, South Holland, Harvey, Dalton, Riverdale, Burnham, Dixmoor, and Posen. That is where this tornado is heading. Still is an observed tornado warning, and you can still see this is heading right for Chicago. It is extremely dangerous. Alright, it does look like it has weakened a little bit, so that is good news. Hopefully this was just a near miss, but you can see this is still a debris ball. Still a debris ball. It is a little hard to tell, but trust me, that is a debris ball. It's slightly disconnected from the rest of the clutter in the radar. So I do believe that there is a debris ball heading right for Chicago. However, I don't think that this is a very strong tornado. I don't think that. Of course, that's pretty typical with these QLCS line setups. I don't think that that's a very strong tornado. I don't think so. So these are about to cross the Lake Michigan. And you can see there is severe thunderstorms producing extensive severe wind gusts and embedded water spouts. This has now been extended to include Rensselaer, Indiana, please be in your safe spot, Morocco, and Mount Ayr, Hanging Grove, Brook, Snyder, Shelby, Wheatfield. All those places in Indiana need to be in your safe spot. This is approaching into Indiana now. It continues. The intensity of this event continues. It's still heading right for Chicago. It does look like it has weakened, though. So let's just hope. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to tell if there's a CC drop. I don't think there is. So I think Chicago just barely missed a potential tornado. It wasn't a very strong one to begin with, so I don't think they were going to be impacted by a strong tornado, if anything. But it was very, very close to being impacted by a tornado. And it could still cycle. I'm not saying that Chicago has a 0% chance of seeing a tornado now. It still could cycle just barely before it moves off the coast, which I really do not hope that happens. I really do not hope that happens. Washington Park area? Let's see. Chicago? Washington Park, I mean, I guess there is a little area of rotation here, so yeah. That's not on the ground, though. It doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like that's on the ground, unless if that CC drop over there, this means something. That would head right there towards Washington Park, but I don't know if that's on the ground. Maybe this still is on the ground. I don't know. I think it still is on the ground. It's heading, thankfully, right to the north of Chicago, but it's still not that good, because, I mean, there's still a lot of people that live here. A lot of people that live here near Streeterville, Magnificent Mile, Cabrini Green Homes, near North Side, Gold Coast Historic District, Chicago Loop, Printers Row. All of those areas need to be aware because there could be a tornado right approaching you. I know I said it probably was lifting the ground. I take that back. It seems like it's still remaining on the ground, or at least is weakening, but still is on the ground. So be aware that there is a Chicago tornado currently. A tornado in Chicago. My gosh. Alright, so the tornado would track right over here. If that CC drop matches. But hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully we still don't have a tornado. Most of these are observed, so I realize that. Yeah, most of these are observed. Geez, it looks like this is strengthening right as it leaves Chicago. It's giving one final push, which is not good for Chicago, right on the coastline. Thankfully, once it leaves Chicago, then we'll be done with it until Michigan. But for the little time it has left, it might pack a punch. And I do not like to hear that. Still have these tornado warnings in Indiana. They continue. One of them is observed, the one near Gary. And there is an area of rotation trying to develop near Hammond. But that still hasn't materialized to the ground yet. We also have one near Cedar Lake. It does not look like that one's on the ground, but still is an area of rotation that we still have to worry about. I just do not like the picture of this. It's just heading right north of Chicago. That's clear as day. It's clear as day. We just had a tornado that went through to Chicago. I can't believe it. We just had a tornado that went through Chicago. One thing about this tornado, it doesn't seem like it was strong. It doesn't seem like it was strong. Of course, this isn't a PDS warning or anything. It does not seem like it was strong. So that is one thing that we're going to continue to hang on to. It does not seem like it was a strong tornado. However, it was a tornado. And any tornado can cause lots of damage. Even if it is the smallest tornado. So I still want to get that across the Chicago area. Just had a tornado that went through you, but at least it was weak. But still, that's like saying that. It's like saying your arm got chopped off, but at least you still have. At least you still have the rest of your body. I mean, it's still pretty bad. Alright, this is officially offshore. We're done with this. You don't have to worry about this thing anymore. It's off the shore. It's heading on to Lake Michigan. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Thank God. But for those folks in northern Indiana, we still have to worry about this a little bit. Over here near East Chicago. East Chicago, there is an area of rotation over there. Is that on the ground? It's so hard to tell. It could be, but I'm not sure. It could be, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I keep being unsure. Let's see if we can still see the storm, though. As it moves offshore. I mean, it's extremely hard to tell. These are just picture cameras. Alright, Chicago, you're done. Chicago, you're done with all of these tornado shenanigans. You're done, you're done, you're done. You're no longer in a tornado warning, and that means you'll be clear for the rest of the night. Chicago is now clear for the rest of the night. It took a while. It took a long time. But things are only going to wind down from here. So that is good news. And now, we look towards these areas. Benton Harbor, you're currently in a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. As there is an area of rotation that looks like it's trying to develop near Shoreham. I'm not sure if that's side lobe contamination or not. Doesn't seem like it, so that might be an area of rotation trying to develop near Stevensville and Shoreham. You can see this is continuing to extend the tornado warning now towards Valparaiso, South Haven, Portage, Chesterton, Burns Harbor, Ogden Dunes, Dune Acres, Boone Grove, Couts, Aberdeen, Malden. That continues. And you can still see areas of rotation continuing to form along this line. Over there near Crown Point, you can see an area of rotation that is continuing to try to develop there. No tornado warnings down there anymore, so that is good. And no 80-mile-per-hour winds. We did also get there at point of 105-mile-per-hour winds, which is insane. We had winds of 105 miles per hour. It's insane to think about. I don't know how it would be at 4:25 p.m. I think it's later than that. I think it's like 9:25 p.m. And that was towards Camp Grove. Insanity. Four tornado warnings active. I think I do have to go soon. I gotta go to sleep. But it doesn't mean that these tornadoes are gonna sleep on us. They're gonna still continue throughout the night. And I mean, we'll still have to wait and see what happens. Still might get a lot more. Who knows? And if there is a lot more that occurs, then I will be back live. But I'm gonna try to get some rest very soon. So once this probably moves through Gary, then I probably will get some rest. It's moving through Gary right now. Packing winds of up to, let's see. Maybe 78 miles per hour, maybe up to 80. Maybe a little less. I think maybe up to 75 miles per hour. So we're seeing 75 mile per hour winds up to Gary, which is still intense, but still a weak tornado. And a little bit of a hurricane. Still realize that continues into Gary. What an insane day. Truly was insane today. I'm not gonna lie. Well, that's all we can do. I mean, thank you guys for watching. I mean, that's all I gotta say. Please just subscribe, turn on notifications. If you don't know what the notifications are, they're the bell icon right next to the subscribe button. Also, make sure to like this video. I don't care if you dislike. If you really didn't like this video, fine, dislike. But anyways, guys, you just want to understand. You just want to believe that the quickest route and the easiest route always has to be the Moyes Data on the Road freeway. Goodbye, guys.